Hey, so I grew up on a farm in a town called Thirlmere where my dad and my uncle grow roses to wholesale to florists. Now, my dad was originally the lead electrician in the local mine and my uncle was the safety officer in the same mine. So how they got into growing roses is still a bit of a mystery, but they have truly mastered the art. And my little brother is now growing gerberas on the same property. So you could say, I'm pretty proud. But now, when I go home of a weekend to visit, I look around the farm and I wonder if I, as an occupational hygienist, could do more to educate them on some of the hazards that they're potentially exposed to each and every day. So with that in mind, I got up nice and early and I went with my dad to the Sydney flower markets where they sell the roses. And I caught up with him and some of his mates to gauge their understanding of occupational hygiene and to ask what hazards they have on their own properties. Now, as expected, none of them knew what an occupational hygienist was. When I explained my role, they were all pleasantly surprised that this resource even existed. Some of them even offered to take me home. Now, when I asked what kind of hazards they had on their own properties, I got a pretty mixed response, but the majority said chemicals, pesticides, and spraying these on the flowers. This was the response I was really after. But when I asked what controls they had in place, and I heard things like, nothing, even though I know it's wrong. I wear a face mask, but I think it gets on my skin. I came to the realization that this industry and these guys really need our help. They're trying their best to do the right thing, but they don't really understand what the right thing involves. There was talk of respirators that haven't had cartridges changed in over a year, ripped PPE and Tyvek suits that are reused for each spraying event, farmers with beards and facial hair. Now, some of them are lucky enough to grow their crops outdoors, and they can use filtered spray tractors and some other amazing controls. But it was the smaller growers who seemed like they needed a bit more support. They've got a really good understanding of the MSDS and the chemicals that they're using, but their PPE and engineering controls were a little bit lacking. So I did some research, and I found out in New South Wales, you need a spray license. So you attend a one-day ChemCert course. As the website says, this covers the necessary information you need to know about safe chemical use. Now, it does cover all that required information. It talks about PPE, skin sensitization, respiratory protection, but this section is only about 10 pages of a manual that's over 200 pages long. Now, I thought this was a great start, but surely they couldn't cover everything in a day. And how much of that day's focus was on occupational health and hygiene, I was a little unsure. So back to the growers. These guys are trying to do the best they can for themselves and for their employees with the resources they have available to them. They're attending the ChemCert courses. They've got MSDS registers and lock storage for their chemicals. Some of them are going out and they're buying masks that have been recommended by the chemical suppliers. Others are picking up masks from Bunnings, local hardware stores. They're buying gloves and gumboots, and they're really doing the best they can. Now, when I asked them all if they thought I could help at all, they all said, yes, we would love some more support and information. Because they're trying to do the best they can, but they don't have all the information they really need. Now, the small chats I had with all of them really opened their eyes up to things they weren't even aware of, like the need to wear the right respirator, the need to have the right cartridge in your respirator, and the right fit on your mask, to wear the right PPE, and to launder that PPE appropriately. This was all new information to them. So I'm really here today to challenge everyone in this room to think about the smaller industries and businesses out there. What can we do to make our profession more available to them? Can we volunteer our time? Can we write fact sheets? Can we run seminars on PPE? I know after this experience, I'm not only going to ensure my dad and family are educated, but also that as many flower growers are educated so that they can be safe not only at work, but go home safely as well, because that's what really matters. Now, we have a great job as occupational hygienists, maybe even the best job in the world. And I'm passionate about not only letting people know what an occupational hygienist does, but also getting out there and helping as many of these small industries and businesses as we can. Together, we really can make a difference. And I know I'm personally going to make a difference for the growers I met during this experience. And I really hope I've inspired you to go out there and make a difference yourselves. Thank you.